How about now? Oh, I think maybe that fixed it. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, great. Um, Gosh, not sure what was going on. Can you hear any music though? It doesn't look like the music is coming through. Sorry about this. I tried to set everything up beforehand, but it doesn't look like it really worked. Oh, okay. I think maybe music's coming through now, maybe? I swear, it like looked like everything was working, and then I just like hit go live, and then everything is no longer working. So sorry about that. Well, I think I've gotten everything squared away. Let me know if there are any more issues. And thanks for tuning in. It's been a little while. As you might have seen me on Twitter say, my wife and I are actually doing we're basically remodeling our whole house, and we've been just like running around super busy lately, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I've kind of had to break my streaming schedule just because we've just had a lot of things throughout the day that we had to go do. You know, random stuff like looking at floor samples and whatnot. And so like right now also they're putting up scaffolding around our house, so you might hear some of that in the background. Hopefully not too bad though. And then after this week, so next like a week from today, starting on Monday of next week, I'll be working from like an Airbnb. So we'll be like in a different environment, but I'm going to try and set up, you know, everything so that I can continue streaming while we're in that setup. Cause it's going to be a few weeks that we'll be out of the house. So anyway, just bear with me, I guess, while we go through all this, and I probably won't be able to be as regular with the streaming schedule. But just know that's not like a result of me being like burnt out or anything like that. It's just there's just a lot going on right now, and it's been difficult. Yeah, so the whole thing, I mean, so our house is on a steep hill, and so the front of our house is ground level, and the back of our house is about 4 stories up in the air. And so we're doing a bunch of stuff to the house, but like including like adding windows and stuff like that. And so they have to cover the whole house with scaffolding to do basically anything. And we're also getting the exterior painted. And right above my office actually is going to be a new kitchen. We're like moving the kitchen, and so anyway, this whole house is just going to get torn to pieces and put back together again. Danny asked, does it have a nice view? It does actually. Maybe I'll try and show it sometime. We've got a view overlooking the ocean actually. It's one of the primary reasons we bought the house. So we're trying to make the kitchen in such a way that it can really take advantage of those views. But anyway, so we're really excited about it, but it's going to be a very painful process as we go through all this. And you know, we're going to be living out of Airbnbs and stuff in the meantime, so it'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. So let's work on some code. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it. So last time we were working on the project management app, and we made some good progress. This was like the timeline screen that we were working on, and it's all fake data right now. So this is really just kind of like a UI concept at the moment. And then we started working on let's see. So if you look at, let me see. Oh, this didn't work. Okay. So if you look here, this is like the mock-up. Install it. Sky Color says install a cooling fan in your office so the computer will stay cool while you're remodeling. It's a good idea. I looked at some laptop coolers on Amazon to see if, I don't know, see if something made sense. And there are like some options. I didn't end up buying one, but maybe I will, just to try it out, that like you can kind of bolt onto your laptop while it's sitting there. So I might give that a shot, actually, because I kind of forgot about that, but that'd be a good idea. So this is the mock-up of the, like, it's sort of like a create a new task screen that we started working on, and we didn't make it very far. So let me just update this code. We've got this screen here, and we had just kind of started building out this like field, form fields and stuff with, you know, date pickers and all this, but we didn't really get a chance to style it. So it kind of looked pretty meager. Let me, that didn't stick. So let me see. So this is what we ended up with, which, you know, obviously looks terrible. But you can see that, you know, where it's going. Like we've got a few fields here, and we can, you know, there's like this like check mark thing that we've got going on with like a radio button type deal, which matches the design here. And so we'll play around, continuing working on this screen and trying to get this into like a usable thing. And this will be kind of interesting because I think there's, you know, forms have a lot of, you know, user interaction and feedback and stuff. And so there will be, you know, just a teensy bit of state management and stuff that we'll have to deal with here. So trying to remember exactly where we were here, but a lower desk real quick. All right. So we've got, you know, this main screen, and we've just got individual pieces of state for all of this at the moment. And let me pull back up the so I mean, what does this look like right now? So you can see that some of the fields are interactive at the moment. Like, you know, I can start typing in to these text fields, and I can, this like radio group type thing kind of works. Not sure, why does it say create additional pages? Is that, oh, that was the initial value here that we set from the mockup. So, you know, things are wired up, but the style here is not great at all. So let's see what we can do here. So I wonder if we should put all of this in like a surface so that we get some of the content color benefits of it. Let's go ahead and try that. So say color equals BG color, and then not sure why that ended up Oh, my Android Studio thinks I'm with 4 tabs instead. Let me tweak that. Skeptic asked, does Compose currently support edge-to-edge gestural navigation? Hold on one second. 1, 2. Okay. So it's kind of a tricky question because, like, right now there's gestural navigation that is built into the Android platform, and you can sort of get that with the navigational or navigation architecture component, and that same architecture component you can use with Compose. And so you can basically, you know, build the screen with Compose, and yeah, so I mean, I believe the answer is yes, but doing it in all, like, the actual gestures in Compose, it's technically possible, but right now the navigation solutions to do that would be they wouldn't, like, sort of be plug and play, I guess, I think is the current state of the world. But one of the things I'd like to do for this project, this, like, project management app thing that we're working on, is we'll go ahead and wire up the navigation architecture component to this, and kind of see how that works, so that we'll get kind of like a more of a fully working prototype. Okay. Tehan Aksu says, can the new Compose navigation library handle multiple backstacks? It can handle whatever the navigation architecture component handles, and so I'm not sure if that is the use case that you're talking about or not. But if you know the answer for the navigation architecture component, then it would be the same answer for the Compose version, or the Compose extension. Skeptic says, what I meant was the ability to draw the navigation bar and status bar behind the content. Bar and status. Sorry, Skeptic. I'm not sure that clarifies it for me. You can set the status bar to be transparent, and you can draw content behind it, if that makes sense. Not sure if that's what you're asking. Sorry, I'm just having a tough time answering today. So, okay. I think what this will do, so let's say this is color, and let's go ahead and set a content color here. Content color, which I think we want to be white. And let's see what that does to change some of these things. Okay. One problem I see here, like, immediately, is that it looks like the content color was not really being honored by this text field. Which, I mean, I think the intention is that it will, so I think that that's kind of a bug. Let's see, I mean, because this is like the material text field, so it really should be honored here. So I'm gonna write that down has some feedback. Oh shoot, all right. So sorry, I'm just gonna write this down off screen here. Text field didn't honor content color. Okay. Okay. So I think that this label should be above the row here. So that the start end dates end up above that. And I guess the content color is not quite being honored. It's probably using, well, I'm not sure what it's using, but let's see if like it's kind of interesting because even though we're on a dark background here, like I'm not sure if I should consider that like a whole new theme. It's more just the style of this like form, you know, like the form has this sort of darker appearance. So I'm not sure that that should create a whole new theme or not. Sort of debatable. Yes. Skeptic says the font you're using is gorgeous. Yeah, thanks. It's called Dank Mono. I'll give you a link to it if you'd like to check it out. So let's go here. Let's just go ahead and style this a little bit, since it doesn't appear to get styled on its own. Okay. Wow, is that? I really wish Studio kind of displayed all of these parameters in a better way, especially when it's like these long lists of parameters here. I'm just gonna click on into it. So we've got active color, inactive color, color, background color. So the background color makes sense, but let's see what it's using for the Yeah. It's kind of curious that Surface didn't deal with this properly. I'm gonna go ahead and just try creating a theme. And it does this properly. Well, I don't know. Let's just fill it out manually right now. So style. Where do I want to? Text style. Color. And let's update this field label as well. So it's going to get think what I want is color.white dot alpha let's give it like 70% opacity here. And this is why I really want a well-spec'd design. I think that would be nice. Close this here. So font size, see what that looks like. I wonder what the, I mean, so this gives me the text style, but I'm not sure what this, if this active color is used for the underline or not. But right now the underline is purple, which makes me think that's probably what it is. Let's go ahead and run that real quick. And then I want to tweak some of these, this like radio chip thing we got going on. So okay. So I think this, the background of this icon button could have a shape, rounded. Rounded corner shape. And then we'll give it like a 4DP corner. And then I don't know, one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about how this laid out at first. So if you look at these like icon button kind of things, it concerns me that it decided to wrap these when it really didn't need to. That seems a little bit bizarre to me. Like as a sort of default layout behavior, like there's plenty of room for all three of these to lay out properly. So I don't really like how it didn't do that. Okay, apparently icon. What was the difference here? Asset. Vector asset. What is check? Check's a vector asset. I need to unimport something. I see. So this one's deprecated, and this one's not. All right. But yeah, so that concerns me a bit. I think I might write down some feedback for that as well. Like, I wonder if I remove this row, what will happen? Same thing. What happens if I remove the icon button? Interesting. Okay, so that ended up fixing it, but I don't know why. And so let me see if I add the row back in. I mean, now it's just a row embedded in a row, but let's just see what happens there. Okay, so it's adding this icon button that seems to produce the unwanted behavior. I see. And I wonder if this is a side effect of how Box works. Okay, I think that's incorrect behavior, I think, for icon button. Okay, I'll add this feedback here. So icon button causes text to wrap, text inside of it to wrap even when there is plenty of room. Probably related to Box's behavior. So all right, let's try a few things and see if we can fix this behavior. Because I don't want, I mean, so I believe if I do weight to be 1, then it's just gonna stretch across the whole screen, which I don't want that either. Well, actually, I mean, maybe arguably I do in this case, but I guess I wouldn't expect it to be the default behavior. I would expect it to take up exactly as much. So let's try fill equals false here. I'm not sure if, I still don't think that weight will do the right thing, but I never really understood the fill parameter for weight. Okay, well, that puts it back to kind of the original issue. So I guess that's not what we want. So this kind of fixes it, but I'm not sure it fixes it in a satisfactory way. Like, what is weight? Weight's on row scope. So I wonder what happens if I put it on the text. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I think in the meantime, I'm just gonna add it here, but not super happy with that solution. Let's see, and I'm gonna change this green because this green is pretty gross. So let's see. Just gonna grab my green here and just like a top level val moment. Let's choose that. So I don't think the corner's rounded enough. We'll go ahead and change this to 8. And this icon button let me tweak padding. Doesn't. I wonder if I don't even really want icon button. Like, I guess icon button is enforcing a certain level of padding and size and things like that, which I don't really want. It's basically saying that the preferred height is 48 dp, which makes sense for an icon button, but really we're using this as like a it's not just housing an icon, and in fact, like most of the time it's not. Only if it's selected does it have an icon. So let's try and do a button instead. Okay, so this uses surface and row, creates some padding, but it's specifiable. And this might actually get rid of like the. So you know what? I mean, I guess it's debatable whether or not the icon behavior was incorrect. I guess it was the preferred size thing that was causing it. I see. Okay, that makes sense to me, I think. I'm a little less worried about it now. So let's see. I think this is gonna do a better job. Let's go ahead and give. Let's say shape. We'll give it this shape. And then, is there a color? Yeah, border colors. Button colors. Interesting. Okay, I don't. Yeah, I don't really like this here, this like button color thing. And I guess you can give it, you create default button colors, but that's a private class. Like this feels like you're making me work too hard, right? Oh. What is... So button constants. That default button colors. Yeah, this is kind of weird. I don't know if I like this. Let's see. This is, I think this is what they want me to do. Default button colors. Ooh. That's weird. Never seen that before. Another piece of feedback. Button constants. All right. Hey Gabriel, how's it going? I'm good, how are you? Okay, so gives me this default button colors. Which I kind of get, but like this is, it's just weird that like we have these this like button colors interface. Which it just makes me feel like, you know, it's trying to work too hard or something, you know. It's making me work too hard to implement this when I just want to specify a color. But I can understand the, you know, enabled, disabled kind of feature here. I need to think more about how I feel about this. Like even just from ergonomics, I'm not sure about this like whole like button constants, but then I'm using a function on button constants to create something. It's like it's not a very constant feeling thing. So like I wouldn't think to use button constants dot something to fill in this parameter. All right. Like, I mean, this is just kind of weird. Okay. I mean, and is this is composable? Oh, that's not good. Cause now I can't even make this a constant here, right? So like, you know, I can't say selected button color equals, you know, this, because this is a composable function, so I can't call it. And even if I had all these things, this class is private, so that's not what I want either. So there's definitely a lot of feedback here. I'm not super excited about this API. Okay. I mean, I think basically this is just making me want to not use button. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay. Color. So in this case, the background is white. And what else do I put here? The content color. Like I guess I'm just keeping that as the normal content color. And then this will have colored out white. So let's see how this works, but yeah, I'm not pumped about it. Unselected. And then we can get rid of that. What else did button have here? Got shape, elevation. And so there is some content padding here. Oops. Which I think we'll want to tweak. Padding values. And here, I think. So padding values doesn't give me like the nice horizontal shortcuts, horizontal, vertical, which I think it probably should. Padding values. Shortcut. Let me just make sure it, because it could be coming from somewhere else. Nope. Yeah, doesn't look like it. Okay. Which we can just say, what is it? Start. Let's make that 10. And let's see where we end up with that. And we're also going to want to put some padding around this whole thing because there's a little bit of spacing in between each one. So padding, and let's say horizontal of, actually, so I don't think we really want that. I think what we want to say is we want to say like arrangement, horizontal arrangement, space between, spaced by. Let's try that. So spaced by like 10 dp. I think is what I want here. Hey Suas, this is Suas asks, what playlist is this? This is a playlist I made through the music service called Pretzel Rocks. They have like it's all copyright free music for streamers and stuff like that, and they have a chill playlist which I've gone through and listened to a bunch and kind of cherry picked a lot of the ones that I liked and just thought would be good for streaming. Unfortunately, there's not a very easy way to share what the playlist is, but a lot of people have been asking. So at some point, I should probably just like write down all the songs for people. But I haven't done that yet. Sorry. But if you go onto Twitch, you can actually see there's like I have like a Pretzel Rocks widget on my Twitch. And so in the video you can go to the right and you can like see what's playing and what was playing previously and stuff like that. Okay, so let's, oh yeah, I didn't move that. Okay, so this is cool. I mean, so one of the things that I like is that we did sort of, this is now the behavior that I was kind of expecting with the way things would lay out. And so this is now a confirmation that the icon button, the reason icon button was behaving that way was because of the preferred size. And that kind of makes sense for icon button to have. So I might, you know, redact that feedback because that might be like we were sort of using icon button incorrectly. And I think that might be reasonable for icon button to behave that way. And button now, you know, is working sort of the expected way. And so this, let me show you what showed up. You know, we've got this going on. One thing that I want is, you know, I think, like they've got if you look at the mock-up here, it's hard to see because they don't have, I mean, this isn't a video or anything, so we don't have like the interactive kind of preview here. But it looks like the check mark kind of has space that it would fill in, whether it's checked or unselected. So like the overall width of the button or the pill or whatever you want to call it wouldn't change when it got selected or deselected. Whereas right now that's what ours does. And so I think we should probably fix that because it's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit like disorienting when it changes size. So let's try and make this so it's constant size here. And I also at the same time, I think I want to make this icon a little bit smaller. So let's say size. What's the default size? Doesn't really have one. Okay, so the vector is kind of determining the size, which is interesting. I didn't really expect that, but so let's see what happens if we do like 16 dp here. And at the same time, we can say spacer modifier.size 16 dp. So now, I guess the indentation was a little wrong here. So now what we're doing is we're kind of always rendering one or the other, like either an icon or a spacer, and the spacer is just not going to show anything, and so that's kind of fine there. And then I think what I'm going to do is actually change this so that let's say this is 20 dp and the start is 4 dp, because there's always going to be this 16 dp space here. And let's see what that looks like. Gabriel asks, there's any result that you are finding by doing dog fooding, any new API ideas, changes that were proposed by you? There have been a few conversations. I would say there nothing like major. Just trying to think out loud here. What were some of the things? I mean, one of the things we had like some conversations around some of the gradient APIs that showed up. Some like editor pain points. Most of the feedback I've had so far has been like pretty small scale feedback, like little like kind of niche nitty type things. But I think that's fine. I've got a list of a number of pieces of feedback that I haven't yet kind of given to people. Like I'm sort of compiling the list, and I'm going to try and summarize it or consolidate it into more specific feedback for people. But yeah, it's mostly been little things, I think, that we found, or things that I was kind of already sort of aware of, but I don't know. Okay, so I mean, this kind of accomplished the goal that they don't change sizes now, but it looks a little crowded, like on the one side, and so I'm not sure what. Like I wonder if the design is like a little bit off and it wouldn't actually work this way. I'm not sure. Let's try and tweak it a little bit. So I think we can. Let's try with 8 and 24. And I think it's a little close here. So .tp. So like we'll just give it a little bit of padding on the left side to space that icon a little bit more. And then it looks like relative to the design, I think that this top and bottom padding was a little much. So let's go to 4 dp. Okay. That seems a bit better. I'm more happy with that. So, okay. Now, what do we want to do? So I think this field label should go with like a bit smaller font size than we have. And let's give this some vertical spacing here. So fire padding, let's try that. I actually think it might maybe instead of having a field label, let's just call this a field. We'll give it some content. And I kind of like that API a little bit better, where this is just like, you know, kind of the area taken up by a field. And then, so the reason I'm doing that is because now that lets me specify some padding above the label, below the label, and then below the overall content of the field, which I think I want to do. And then it might make sense for the field content to be like row by default. So maybe we just, you know, we remove this here and that. Okay. So here what we're going to do is we're going to render the content there. And then this will be a column. And then we'll put this in a row. So we'll put 8 dips of spacing above and below the field, and then another 8 here. And let's see how that works out. All right. So let's try and, sorry, so this is what it looks like now. You know, which is getting there, I suppose. So interestingly, this, so the text field, the background color, like text field by default will, I guess it'll change the alpha of the container color on surface. Interesting. which it looks like our design doesn't do that. So I'm gonna update that, which, you know, here's our background color. I'm gonna start consolidating some of these color, like these top level colors, just in one place, because yeah, it's kind of gross how we're using them right now, but so let's just put them here. And then, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I guess I'll just import them, but so the background color here, we're just gonna keep as the background color. So Penduka de Silva asks, maybe this has been raised many times, but is there an out-of-the-box solution for ViewPager? The answer is currently there is not. It is possible to make a ViewPager, and I think that I think one of the Jet News or one of the sample apps has a pretty decent implementation of one. And there will likely be a kind of out-of-the-box ViewPager solution at some point, but probably not before 1.0. I think what we're focusing on is the sort of fundamental APIs that you can use to build pretty much everything, and making sure that those are solid, and then we'll spend some more time building some of these really important out-of-the-box solutions, but you know, we just haven't been able to build all of them kind of right away. So all right, inactive color. So one of the where am I here? So the active color is white, and I'm gonna make the inactive color white with a slight alpha on it. So let's say 0.7. And I think that's pretty close to what this design actually has. Okay. Sorry, it's kind of in the way. Let's see, what else do we want to do? The text field here isn't expanding to fill its width, if you can tell. Like, the create additional pages doesn't go all the way. So I'm gonna add a modifier weight. Ooh, I guess I need to do that somewhere else. That is kind of a bummer. Kind of understand why that's necessary, but that is a bummer. So let's add a modifier parameter here. And probably what we're gonna want to do is do that. I'm gonna make this inline and just pass content into row. Or, sure. Let's try that. And then what we should be able to do is here on this text field, we can say modifier weight, make it 1. I think that's kind of what we want. And so just to start giving this like a little bit more of a date picker feel, which, I mean, it's totally not a date picker right now, but let's just set this up so that it like has like a little bit of spacing there anyway. And then we'll kind of dive into the date picker stuff later, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with it right now. So Gabriel asked about navigation and compose. That is the current stage. Sorry, not quite sure what you're asking. If you could clarify. What is the current stage? So the navigation architecture component just published the first alpha release of the like compose extension for it. So it's out there now if you want to go try it out. I think maybe the next episode I'll try adding it to this project if we have like, you know, some more navigational elements to add there. I think that would be good. Okay, so kind of want to play around with this drop down field here. We just, you know, left it empty currently, so let's try and make that work. Let me show you what it so if you look at the mockup here, you can see that the client dropped there. It's sort of like a drop down list, and then there's the like client icon, I guess, that shows up on the left hand side. So we can try and work with something like that. Okay. So let's I'm just gonna render a kind of fake image right now. Let me go get the so I'm gonna use this API just to grab an image. Why not? Client drop down. Okay. And let's just say this is like 200 something. We'll just give it a random ID. So what I want to do is make this a circle again. Say modifier, and we will clip this to a circle shape. And we'll give it a size of, let's see what 100 dp ends up looking like. This is data, I think. All right, so that's our like client image here on the right. And On the right hand side, let's give it a text field for the moment. Okay, and so I'm not using this, am I? This is what I was using instead. This is what I ended up using. So here, let's do selected value that name. And we'll kind of want to do something a little bit different here because this text field, we're not going to let the user just type in it. We'll want to make it some sort of like a drop down type thing. But that's fine. So there's the okay. I think what I want to do here is let's add, well, actually, let's just go ahead and use a spacer for this. So a spacer with okay, let's see how that works out. So this is the current design. I wonder why the plus isn't showing up here. Weird. Oh, the modifier didn't end up sticking because I didn't end up using it here. Okay. Okay, so I mean, these kind of roughly work here. You know, I think I kind of made I'm wondering if this feels like a little too spaced out now. And also, I don't know what's happening with this the image isn't working very well. Not sure why. Tyfly asks, don't suppose autocomplete text view is available in Compose for your dropdown? No, we don't have something like that yet. We probably will at some point. But I haven't seen any work on that at the moment. Okay, so I wonder why. I don't know. Oh, whoops, I just turned it off. This image isn't showing up, but I'm not sure why. Let's just go for another one. And I think it seems like the image is kind of way too big, so we'll probably want to change it. What size avatar did we go for? 40 dp is the avatar. Okay. This looks almost the same size. I think let's make it like 48 or something. Okay, 48. And then I kind of want to wonder what happens if I do that, if that'll show up while it's loading. Okay. Sure. That's not terrible. So, I mean, looking at this mockup a little bit, one of the things is the padding on the text field. There shouldn't be any horizontal padding because it's just sort of the aesthetic of the design. Because there's no different background color, then it's kind of supposed to line up with the line. So we can go ahead and change that. And let's see. What do we have here? I'm a little bit worried that this may not be possible with this, which is definitely kind of what it seems like. So I wonder where this padding is implemented. Decorated text field. Yeah, not loving this. Care width. Just want to look up. I'm curious if this is supposed to be something that you're able to customize with material or not. I'm not going to give me a list of yeah, man, lets me specify the padding. I'm not sure that the material spec says anything. Aranium asks, I'm curious, where did this function naming convention come from? Which naming convention are you referring to? Okay, text field scroller. It's interesting. I can't actually find where the padding comes from. Like this doesn't have it. And then it doesn't seem like, okay, maybe. I see. So where's this used? Text field layout. This is where it is. Yeah. So it's used as a constant. All right. Well, I think that's kind of a deal breaker, right? Like we should be able to customize this padding. Text field need to be able to customize the inner padding. I see. Yeah, Uranium is referring to the casing convention of composable functions. So it's a good question. It's a little bit of a controversial question, but what we landed on for compose is that the general rule that we're trying to instate is that if it is a composable function and it returns unit, then it should be capitalized. So in other words, it should be upper camel case instead of lower camel case. This deviates from the kind of general Kotlin language conventions. And the reason that we are doing it or wanting to do it is because a composable that returns unit like this, it is sort of, we want to think of it like a noun, like something that we create and that is there. So like we're sort of creating a composable function is kind of creating this description of what the resulting hierarchy should look like. And so you want to, like, what we found is that when we started doing lowercase naming, then people would start, and this is all just like very subtle, but like people would start thinking of composables as verbs, and we really want to think of them as nouns. Like they're a thing that it's here in the hierarchy and it exists, and it's not something that we're doing. It's something that we're describing. And so we felt like this naming convention, you know, might be justified to have this difference, like for composable functions specifically. And that was kind of where the thinking came from. But some people are unhappy about that, and others aren't. And you know, you can't make everyone happy, I guess. Yeah, so Iranium says to embrace the declarative style, if I get that right. And yeah, it's basically we're trying to push people into this mental model, and this was like one small conventional thing that we felt like helped, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm pretty bummed that text field doesn't let me change the padding values here. That is really unfortunate. So I don't want to like re-implement all this, but I mean we could, but since the mockup is actually very close to a material text field, I want to try and use it, and I think that this is pretty good feedback for them. Is that like even in this pretty simple design, it didn't satisfy all of our needs, and so that's unfortunate. Okay, so minus the padding, let's see what shall we do. Let's go ahead and make this like the bottom part of the screen, just to kind of finish out the screen design before we go ahead and do some of the more like some of the nuanced things that like the drop down and the date picker I think are two kind of complex things here. Yeah, so video chips new. Okay, so down here it should be in the scrollable section. So these fields, and then here let's make a surface, and shape, we'll give it a rounded corner shape. Top left, it's a pretty big radius. Let's say that's 24 dp. Top right, and then color would be color dot white, and content color dot. Let's see what it ends up as without that. So we've got our surface now, and I'm curious what the padding ends up being. I think I don't have any capability to do the inside padding here, do I? No. Okay. So curious to see what that is. Let's say we've got this text for description. I'm just going to put a few things down here. There's an icon button, and I want to render like an attachment icon. Let me pull up the mock to show you all what I'm working with. So I'm trying to implement this like bottom part here. And so let's just get a few things down. Let's say default. There it goes. And then this is like an attachment, so we'll do that. We'll give it a tint color of the primary green. And let's see, we're gonna have a big button here. Create task. So okay, so let's like make an attachments state here. Let's make an attachment class. Now progress float. Let's just give it like a hard-coded value right now, and this will have a size, which will be an int. You know, this would be like a number of kilobytes or something, and a name. I'm not sure what's on like there's, you know, some sort of a picture on the bottom left. You know, I don't know, that's like a preview thumbnail type thing or something, I don't know. Let's just, you know, give it a string, and we'll make it a URL just like we are with everything else. And so this progress here, you know, this could be backed by like a mutable state object or something like that. And so let's say we've got our attachments here. Let's make a state list. Use that, and let's create a mock attachment. So the name in the mockup here was reference 1. And the preview, I'm just gonna use this like Pravatar thing yet again. And what else did we need? We need size. It's 168 kilobytes. Sure. And we'll just start off that in our state with this mock attachment. What is this yelling at me about? Oh, interesting. I wonder. Okay, I guess we don't need it because it's. Yeah. We don't need the by keyword for this. Okay, so we've got that. Let's now. We're down here, so let's just say for attachment and attachments. Let's make a like a attachment progress composable. And then in here we can have the coil image, which will have the attachment preview. Okay, so we've got a few questions here. Moritz Post says, is there a possibility to replace compose state with state flow or shared flow? Building on that question, will room support be an option? So let me take your questions kind of individually here. So these are great questions. One, if you have a, let's oh, why is this wrong? There we go. So let's just go down here and like make an example. So if I have like a state flow of item, right? So like let's just say I have like item flow. And we've got some class item here, right? So compose makes interop with flow very easy. I can, if I wanted an item here, I can just say item flow dot collect as state. Why can't I type? So I can just collect as state here, and this now is, why is that type state as, oh, because it's not a bar. And so now what item is now basically the dot value of this item flow. But the nice thing is that whenever the item flow updates, this composable function will update. So it sort of subscribes in the same way. And basically the way that's working is collect as state is, it's just creating a state flow object, and it's just collecting it, and whenever it collects a new value, it sort of puts it into this state object. And so the return type here is a state of item. And so if you have state flow or flow, you can easily map that onto state, and then you can also easily go the other way around, which is kind of cool. So for instance, if I want to go back to an item flow, which wouldn't really make sense if I, you know, started out here. But let's just say, okay, so this is one example, right? But then let's say in this other example, I've got, you know, I've got a state of, you know, item or something. So now what I have is I have a state of item, and I let's say I want to turn it into a state flow. What I can do is I can do this. I can say item flow equals, and so then the trick here is snapshot flow. And what I pass snapshot flow is a function that essentially reads these state objects. So you're sort of creating like a calculation for this flow. And so in this case, I'm just gonna return the result of item here. And what that returns me is a flow that is just always going to, it's going to update as item updates. Why is it not liking me here? Oh, it's just that it's an experimental API, so sure. So this is really cool, and like one of the neat things that you can do with this is like, so let's say I have, you know, var x, I remember mutable state of. So let's say I've got two states, an x and a y, and you know, I want to create some flow that's like the calculation of you know, so x squared plus y squared basically, and I can do that, and now I have a flow that's you know, so this ends up being a flow of, you know, double or whatever it is, that gets returned here. But it does get, why is it? I see. My computer is at the stage where it's very tired. So, you know, maybe these should be doubles or something instead. But, you know, so this is sort of how to get the flow out of a state, if you want to do that, and that can be neat. And then there's also, I mean, so you might ask like, well, can I do kind of the equivalent thing here of like a snapshot flow, but with state? And so you can also do this. You can do derive state of. Why did invalidate show up there? Calculation. Ugh, I don't like that. Why would it do that? Did y'all see that? It's like this recommendation shows up and I don't know why. Oh, you don't see it. For some reason, Android Studio wants to recommend me to pass an invalidate into derive state of, which that is weird. It should not suggest that. Let me write that down. Complete suggests. I mean, that might not be something that we can like change very easily. It's just like logic that looks at the scope to see what matches that type, but that's kind of, that's a very unhelpful suggestion basically. But anyway, so there's also this derived state of API, which allows you to create a state object from, some other calculation. But I mean, the thing is that in most cases, doing that doesn't make much of a difference versus just doing it like a normal calculation, because by reading these state values, like Compose is already subscribing you to all the right things. And so in Compose, like, this should almost always be what you want, but there are some cases where the distinction that this provides is useful. So but anyway, that's kind of the difference. Like this is actually kind of just equivalent to this, which is one of the reasons that state is so nice. It's because you're just dealing with the current value, and everything sort of automatically subscribes to the right things whenever that value changes. So Moritz says, thanks, good explanation. Is there a reason for Compose to not only use stateflow, but to have its own state? Yeah, so it's basically the reasons that I kind of just stated, which is that, state allows us to just think of these as just current values. And we wouldn't really be able to, like, doing a dot collect on, a state object like always or something, like would kind of be like a weird thing to do with Compose's state. And so this is sort of the mental model that we wanted to provide, was that you write code based on a current X and a current Y, and all your code should always be written that way. Is like you write a composable function that describes your UI for like just right now, but for like any value of now, like any value of now across all time, that function is going to be what it'll describe what you want to see on the screen. Does that make sense? And so stateflow isn't really compatible with that way of thinking. It's very easily mapped between the two, like they're sort of equivalent, but it's a different way of thinking, which is why I'm not sure that describing Compose as like reactive is the right word to use, because I think that it's very different from what people think of, like with like RxJava and like Flow and stuff like that. That I think it's a different style of programming. So I prefer to use declarative as the kind of leading adjective for what Compose is. But yeah, let me know if that made sense or not. Well, it's not really using dot value. That's the thing. It's setting up the subscriptions, or like the collections, right? In Flow, you can use dot value, but that doesn't imply a subscription. And you can use collect, and then that is like that's a callback that's going to be used for all time. But it's that callback that we're essentially getting rid of in Compose, as it is sort of implicit in the declarative nature of Compose that this is for all time. And so the callback is the composable function itself. If that makes sense. Okay. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, yeah, I was building this bottom section, right? Where was it? I'd like this, yeah, this attachment progress thing. So let's do that. Okay. So then this, the attachment, which by the way, like, so we're doing this bottom thing of the the mockup here. And so we're gonna create a circular image, which this is very similar to what we just did here. So I'm just gonna reuse that. Okay, say we've got a spacer. And so on the other side of the spacer, we're gonna have this like progress bar. And the progress bar is, you know, kind of on the bottom, and then there's text on the top. So we're gonna stack this in a column, and then in a row, we're gonna have the name of the attachment. And then on the other side, we're gonna have, let's see. So we'll have attachment size, KB. And then below that, we're gonna have the progress indicator. Do we have a linear progress indicator? Yeah, we do. Okay. I see. So we'll give this attachment progress here. And then what all does this want? So it gives us a color and a background color. Okay. So try that. So the arrangement of this row is going to be space between. And I'm not sure what the progress indicator will do. Will it just fill space here? Preferred size. I see, so it has a width here. So I think we want to give this a weight. Let's give it a weight of 1. I guess we can just say fill max width. All right, this is probably going to look a little bit janky by default, but we'll see how it goes. And then at the end of this, we're going to have another icon button. And let's see, what is this? This is like a stop thing or something. Icons.default. Not sure. Stop circle, multiple stop. Not sure if that's right or not. I think at some point there will be like a little gutter icon whenever, you know, we have something used here, but I guess it's not enabled yet. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And so that's our attachment. We've got this button here. So we'll see what that ends up doing. I think this is gonna need a pill shape. Small. Interesting. Looks like something crashed. Something bad happened in measure. Service can only have one direct measurable child. Oh my god. I hate that this is the case. Okay. So basically right now Surface can't have multiple children, which kind of bums me out that that's the case. I kind of never want that to be a problem in Compose, but I guess it is. Well, I'll give that feedback. I'm not sure if we'll fix that or not. I'm gonna give this a top padding 24.dp. All right, let's see what that does. All right. So again, I mean, we weren't really expecting that to look great out of the box, but that's what we've got at the moment. Let's try to tweak some things to make it look better. Okay, so one of the things is this like padding line. I think right now the padding is like up here, but we don't really want that because basically this padding should only be for these fields and not this like bottom thing here. But we do want the the scrollable thing to kind of consume everything. So I'm going to rearrange some of this. I actually think that the scrollable should probably be at like the very top level here. And let's see, where does that leave us? We've got so then the scrollable is like the whole screen, which I think is good. I think it's what we want. And I'm not going to give this any padding now. And then, so surface can have some padding, but even that, I don't think that we want. What I want here is I'm gonna have this be column, and I'm probably screwing this all up here. Okay. This like collapsed code doesn't work very well with this. Okay, so this is our column, and I'm gonna give that the padding. And then I'm gonna do the same inside of here, which horizontal 16 dp, vertical I think the 24 might work there. So we will try that. See what that looks like. We're gonna need to do a lot more, obviously, to get this to, to look like what we want. But again, this is sort of just a start. Did I screw up again? So column. Yeah, so now we've got two things in this column again, so yeah, I guess it's fine, but gonna do that. See how that works. I can tell that my computer is struggling now because all of the builds are taking a lot longer. So my CPU must be throttled pretty significantly. Okay. So yeah, I mean that looks a bit better. Kind of more correct as we'd expect. So I wonder why this close button isn't showing up. Which I think that's because we used fill max width instead of weight. Okay. And then this didn't. I see. So the row isn't expanding either. And for that, I think we can do the same thing here. So modifier F. Okay, so I guess the stop button here is more like a play, pause, stop sort of thing, which isn't what we wanted. Not sure what the material, X is here. I'll try something else. But I'm also confused about what is happening here. Like, we lost our text that was above this for some reason. So why is this not changing? So somehow adding weight here caused this to kind of like disappear. Not sure I understand how. Oh, I see. What do we want? We actually want a line. No, we don't. Isn't a gravity thing. I guess. So I guess fill max width here maybe does work, but oh. So this thing should have a weight of 1. It's gonna spread. And then these should just fill the width. That makes sense. I think that's what we want. Yeah, okay. Try that. Okay, I mean that's more or less what we're looking for. There'll be some spacing that will change, and we'll give the icon a circle and stuff like that. That sort of gets that started, and I think that's maybe a decent place to stop. It's been streaming for a little over 2 hours, and I've got some other stuff I need to kind of tend to. So I feel like we got a good amount done today. Made this page look reasonable. Obviously lots of stuff left to do. But I'm liking it. And I think we'll try and hook some more stuff up in this app example, and maybe play around more with some of the theming. Have that like right now I'm just using colors from the root scope and stuff like that. I'm kind of going against our theming system, and we should probably try and embrace it a little bit more, and see how that might work. But yeah, so thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm not sure when the next time I'll be able to stream is. I mean, the next scheduled time is Wednesday, But I really can't promise that I'll be able to. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But appreciate all of you tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.